Felice Tamara J, and I would like to thank you all for tuning in to the I Am She Show. Well, guys, I have a phenomenal guest today. He's a stand-up comedian, an actor, writer, director, filmmaker, as well as many other talents. Comedian B.COLE. But before I bring him to the show, I would like to thank my production team for always being phenomenal. I could not do this without you guys. Thank you so much. So, if you haven't already, please go to my Facebook page at the I Am She Show and like and share, as well as my Instagram, the I Am She Show as well. Now, with further ado, I would like to welcome B.COLE to the show. What's up, handsome?
Thank you very much.
I see you rocking that shaft fly.
That shot fly, that's right, means Chicago greatness right here on me chest.
On his
and
chest.
not only that, I brought you a gift.
What?
You know, congratulations on your new show.
Thank
And all, and I got you a gift in the shot fly bag, and what's inside is for you.
I love gifts. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Okay, so before we get started, I would just like to say, coming out that Tuesday to your comedy show was actually the very first time I ever met you in person. I've heard great things about you through my cinematographer and editor, Tim King, through TK Media, and he talks very highly of you, and I would just like to say that it's an honor to have you next to me in my seat.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm sitting next to a celebrity, actually, and I never thought that I have the opportunity with me beginning in the beginning right now to have.
Oh man, that's
You know.
a lot. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. TK is my man. Me and him go way back. Man, you're doing big things, and this is one of them right here. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So when he gave me the call, and when you guys showed up on Tuesday at the show, I was all with it. I was like, let's go, let's do it. You know, we represent Chicago, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so how long have you been performing stand-up?
Wow. My first stand-up performance was Black Friday, 1991. So that goes way back when we do some calculation. That's what, 30 years now. This November,
30?
this Black Friday will be 30 years of me performing on stages. 3 decades.
That's a long time.
Very, very much. But it goes so fast. It's like, because it's so much fun. So by being so much fun, it just moves, and you look behind you like, man, so much time. 3 decades. You know, but yeah, it's been a good ride. Ups and downs, but you know, fun for the most part.
So with you being a stand-up comedian, you've been doing comedy that long. I really want to know, like, what other comedians, like big comedians, have you ever worked with?
Oh,
or
wow.
beside?
Wow. Well, I mean, all of the kings of comedy before they were the kings of comedy. But like one of my, you know, most memorable ones, I toured with Dolomite, Rudy Ray Moore.
What?
Yeah, his last tour, I was his opener. And we went and we did all the chitlin circuits that he's known to, you know, have done throughout his career. Like when Eddie Murphy did his biopic and showing him doing the chitlin circuit down south, doing the hole in the wall clubs. Those are the spots we went back to. Like, and that was like late 90s, maybe 99 or 2000. But yeah, we went back and did them spots. But Rudy Ray Moore, he's one of them. But like, you know, of course, Bernie Mac was the first comedian to introduce me to the stage, and that was 1990. That was 1991. Like he wasn't that was my first performance, but he was the first comedian to introduce me to the stage. When I did it on Black Friday, it was a variety show. This host by my man Don Harper, and he introduced me. He was just like an MC and stuff. But yeah. But I perform with a nice amount of cats, man. Everybody, really.
Everybody?
I can say everybody, really. You
That's
can
awesome.
Kevin Hart and all them, like, but they're big. They're big now. But at the time when we were performing, we was all trying to get it. Mike Epps and all of us, JB Smooth, we was all in the same pot, just trying to get it and climb that ladder. But like as them guys are now, they're huge. You know, they're real big time. So yeah, I can put myself and say, yeah, I perform with all them guys.
Okay, so what's involved with getting stage time at an open mic night?
Well, wow. To get stage time, it's been so long since I needed to do that. But for a lot of the younger comedians, it's really pretty much sometimes who you know, and that's basically with everything. It's about who you know. You can be a talented, funny guy and stuff like that, but if you actually know the people who's connected with the open mic, who's hosting open mic, that's better. That better your chances. But it's also about being persistent and just keep showing up weekly, and then comedians get to they're familiarized with you, and they'll be like, okay, cool, we've been seeing him come, let's get him on stage. So, and then also open mics have lists, like a list that you got to show up early, like an hour before the show, and sign the list. And chances are you in that first top 10, you're gonna get on stage.
Okay, all right. So what process do you use to develop your material?
Oh, wow. I've had several different processes throughout the years. I think right now, today, it's just a matter of me just honestly, I just come up with topics, and I'll go on stage and just speak on the topics and see what sticks, And as far as that, it's like it's really been that process throughout the years for me. So it's like I really don't overthink my material or do too much of, because you can really psych yourself, before you get on stage. You do a lot of overthinking. Sometimes you just gotta go, and just like jumping out of an airplane, just go and jump. Just go for it. And that's what I do. And not to be too particular on things, just have fun. Those are the two words that I would advise anyone doing comedy, is have fun. And that's it.
Okay, so what inspires your comedy?
Well, life, life. It's crazy because during this time of this pandemic, the inspiration really hasn't been there. It's been so much, but it's so much to talk about. But it's just like, now, how do you make it in comedy? Make it to be comedic. But prior to that, inspiration, just like I said, just life experiences, and then it can be something that I can see on television, or that can spark an idea, or anything, but inspiration just comes from all different places, so it's like nothing you can really pinpoint my inspiration on, it comes from so many places, just in a conversation talking to somebody, and I can just like, wow, take that on stage.
Right, exactly. Okay, so as far as your jokes goes, what do you mainly like to joke about? Because most, like Kevin Hart, I mainly always hear him talking about his kids and his family and things like that. Like, what is your go-to for
I'm
your
more
jokes?
of a observational comic. I observe and I talk about everything. I stay away from current events, like topics that's in the news, celebrity gossip. My style of comedy, I call it box cutter comedy, because box cutter comedy, when you're put in a box and talking about everything that everyone else is talking about, my comedy cuts myself out of there.
Okay.
And I don't speak, like, for instance, like I was doing comedy during the OJ trial, while the OJ trial was going on, and it was like, that was during the time I was doing open mics, and it'd be like 10 comedians on the show, and every comedian had OJ jokes,
right?
And I was the only one went up there wouldn't talk about OJ.
No,
I was just talking about other random things, But like I said, my stuff is just like, I try to stay away from all the obvious and typical topics that's out there, because everyone touches on them. People talk about relationships, their kids, I believe sex jokes are easy to talk about. That's easy, It's like there's no challenge in talking about, because it's easy to talk about unless you do it metaphorically. You know what I'm saying? Do it in a way where you don't even have to say, parts of the anatomy and all that stuff, but people get it. Like, oh, I like to do it smooth, like put it like this, as a rapper, like Common, how Common is a metaphor, rapper and all that stuff. That's how I am with comedy. I like to make people think and laugh. Right. When they laugh, they be like, and they think about it like, oh, then you get an extra, some extra reaction from that, because they figured out what you're talking about and stuff like that. But yeah.
Okay, so what is your most accomplished moment?
Oh wow. I had a few, But I'm gonna say this: my biggest accomplishment in my comedy career. This is gonna trip you out. I I performed with Prince.
What?
Yes, I did a show with Prince in 2001, and it was so crazy because I was just hanging out with him, and it's crazy how it's a whole Prince story that I have about hanging out with Prince. But to keep it short, I was doing a show every Thursday in Minnesota. I had a comedy room in Minneapolis, and my DJ, he was personal friends with Prince, and I didn't know this. Like, we've been doing the show for like months, and then one day after the show, he's just like, "Yo, man, I'm about to go over to Prince's crib. You know, why don't you, you want to grow? You want to grow?" It's like 2 a.m. because the show was over late, and he's like, "Yeah, Prince in town, man. Him and Roy Ayers is in the studio, man. They creating some music." I'm like, and this is just like a conversation like I don't normally have with somebody about Prince, you know. So I was like, "Yeah, I want to go. Let's go," you know. So we rolled out. And I was in disbelief the whole time until we actually went through the gates, went in the house, and I sat in the studio with Prince. Roy Ayers was packing up, leaving out. And man, we had a conversation, you know, and it was cool. Prince told me Bernie Mac was his favorite comedian, flat out. Flat out, his favorite. But he was a big Comic View watcher and Def Comedy Jam watcher. And so he did know me when I came over. But that was September, because that was 2 days before my birthday. That was September 2nd. Then in November, he came to Chicago to do a concert, a small concert at the Riviera Theater. And I called my boy, said, "Yo, you in town with Prince?" He like, "Nah, man, but you know, go up there, you know, make sure you good." And the concert was over, so Prince had an after party. And Prince's after party is nothing but another concert. You know, he just plays another jam session with the band. So they did it over at the Metro. It's a place at the Metro in Wrigleyville. And man, I got there, and you know, he welcomed me with open arms. Him and his band, and everything. We all walked to the stage together like it was on Purple Rain. Like we just walked to the stage, and man, we all went single file. And we got on stage, man. The people went crazy. They were screaming and everything. But here's the crazy thing about it too. In that little group with us, because I was the last person to show up, and when I came into the green room, Prince was like, "Oh, there he is right there. Now we can go." So it's like, wait, y'all was waiting on me?
Yeah.
But Common and Macy Gray was there inside that green room too.
Really?
Yeah, so Common and Macy, because they had a concert that same day, but they came to the after party. So when I walked into the green room, Common was like, "Man, you know, me and Common, we know each other previously." And he's just like, "Man, I didn't know we was waiting on you." He's like, and Common's just like, "Wow." He's like, "Dude, he's waiting on you, man." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, I hung out with him in his crib. And Common's like, "Wow, this is my first time meeting him." He's like, "Man," he's like, "I'm excited." So we went through all that. Then we got on stage. And like I said, Prince just played. Macy Gray was singing Prince songs while he was playing. Common going up freestyling, you know, while Prince playing. Then Prince pointed at me, "Get on the mic." I'm like, "What you want me to do?" You know?
Right.
I'm the only one in there with Wild Hunter t-shirt on too, because I'm from the Wild Hunter, so I got the Wild Hunter t-shirt on, jeans and stuff. Common was dating Erykah Badu at the time, so you know he was dressed leg warmers and all that stuff, you know, vest no shirt on, and you know Macy Gray, she all eccentric too.
Right.
And then Prince and his band, so I'm out like I'm looking like a sore thumb in there, you know. I got my street gear on. So Prince tell me go up. So only thing I can think of is do my poem that I was known for. When I performed on TV, I did a poem called "I'm in Love with a Crackhead."
Okay.
Yeah, that was my poem, and a funny poem. But "I'm in Love with a Crackhead," I did that, and Prince played the guitar behind me as I was doing it. Oh man, that's answering your question. That was my biggest accomplishment in comedy, performing with Prince, and man, and that's how. Actually, Common and Prince came together to get Prince on Common's album Electric Circus. They made that little connection right there that night, because Prince was featured on one of Common's songs on Electric Circus album. So, and that happened. I saw that happen. So it was, yeah. So that was a beautiful beautiful night.
Oh my God, that is just an amazing story, like hands down. Because when Prince died, that actually really hurted me. It broke my heart because I always wanted to go one of his concerts. I was a big fan of Purple Rain ever since I was a kid, and I cried like that man was my daddy or my uncle or somebody because I was hurt.
I felt that.
Not only because he's an amazing artist, but he still is an icon. He's a legend, and I wanted to meet him. But I know this is totally off the subject, but is everything in his house purple?
You know what? It was a lot was white. The mansion was white. He had lights coming from the ground, from like the rock bed around the mansion, purple lights. So it lights the white mansion purple. But you go inside, everything was pretty much like, you know, just white. Everything was white, you know. But yeah, like before he died, it was so crazy because the day he died was 4/21. It was April 21st, and that night before, I watched his movie, Graffiti Bridge. I just random. I said, man, let me just watch this movie, Graffiti Bridge, and I watched it. Then the news came the next day. I was like, wow. So I was crushed, you know. From there, I did consider him a friend because he did invite me to his LA home when he was doing the Valentine's Day concert as well. But I was working too. I couldn't make it. But yeah, I did consider him as a friend.
Well, seeing Prince in the eye of the public, you know, we all, especially women, we look at him as a sex symbol. He's handsome, he's talented. But how was he as a person?
Man, he was really like you see him in interviews, movies, whatever he did. He was quiet. When I first encountered him, he came out the studio because my boy, Brother Jules, who took me over there, he told me to wait in the hall. And then, you know, he brought Prince out into the hallway. And when Prince came out, it looked like he was floating, just floating.
I remember.
He just, you know, he had this like white like blouse on with bell bottom sleeves and black pants, bell bottom, and he just like came out and floating. I'm like, wow. And Prince really, I mean, me and him was having some real just random conversations, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I don't know. I mean, it was crazy, but he has a sense of humor that you won't get, and I'm starting to see that more as I see people doing interviews, and they talk about the pranks he used to do and how he has this sense of humor where you don't even know if he's playing or serious. Because I had that situation with him because I got kind of upset with him when I did the concert at the Metro with him. That night, he played the guitar behind me. Because after the concert, I was like, all right, man, about to go. It's like 4 a.m. in the morning now. You know, we jammed all night, you know. And I was like, all right. Then he's just like, I ain't with that crack. I was like, what? I mean, he put his hand in my face. Like, we walking. He just like, I ain't with that crack. I was like, but this, you know, I told you about this poem before. I told you about it, you know, because I discussed it at the house with him because I told him I was doing a movie called I'm in Love with a Crackhead, and that was my film, and I told him I was gonna send him a copy when I get it done, which I did. But prior to that, but anyway, doing that concert, at the end of the concert, he kept cutting me off, and I was just like, man, you know that I ain't with that crack, and he just kept putting his finger in my face, I ain't with that crack, and I just like, I got so upset, I just like, all right, man, I'll holler at you later, you know, and I left, and I was just driving home. I was just like, man, I was so mad, and I really was upset. It really hurt me because I thought he was dissing me.
Yeah.
But my boy, Brother Jules, when I saw him later, I told Jules about the situation. He's like, no, man. He's like, dude, that's how he play. He just asked about you. He wants you to come to the L.A. home and to his show in L.A. And he just told me to bring you. And I was like, oh, what? So that kind of eased everything up. But it's been damn near a year before I talked to Jules about that because it really hurt me that he was.
I ain't with that crap.
Right. It's like after I performed it, you played the guitar. So in my mind, like, did you play the guitar to drown me out or what? I don't know, you know? So it's like, but he just kept doing, I ain't with that crap. But seeing everyone else interviews about Prince and how he jokes around and kid, how he's this big prankster and stuff, that made me feel real good and comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I was so sad because when he passed, I still had that kind of, I was upset a little bit, but when he passed and everything, I was like, wow, you know, but Yeah, he was considered a friend though, but that hurt my feelings because it was Prince. Prince dissing me and stuff, so it was funny.
All right, guys, we'll be right back with more from B.COLE, the comedian. Hey, Grandma, I'm back. Hey, baby. Did you get everything I asked for? What the hell you got on?
Oh, you talking about that outfit she got on? They call her Teasy Breezy because she easy and sleazy.
This is my friend clothing line, Grandma. I'm supporting black businesses. Well, you need to go get that back. And you need to stop wearing your sister necklace. I saw you walk in here with that necklace on. You gonna try to take it out thinking I am see. May she rest in pieces.
No, G-Ball. It's rest in peace. It's rest in peace.
You always trying to correct somebody. And Grandma, I can't take it back. I got it on already. Don't you think that'd be like not right? I'ma tell you what ain't right. It ain't right for you to put your body in that outfit when it ain't made for it. And while you trying to correct me, you need to correct your shoe size walking in here with them big ass feet. Knowing good well you wear a size 11 and always buying a 7 and wondering why your bunions hurt. Y'all better leave me the hell alone. I'm about to go to bed here. Welcome back. Once again, we just had this talk about you telling us your encounter with Prince.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I would also like to know, what was your most embarrassing moment on the stage?
Oh wow. A couple of times. Maybe the most, I would say, embarrassing. Maybe what's embarrassing is that when people are excited to see you, and they give you a standing ovation before you even say one word. And it's like I was doing a college tour at the time, and it was a college I did I think in Michigan somewhere. And them students stood up and woo, going crazy, rah and stuff, and it's like that's so much pressure on the comedian, cause you better leave and exit that same reaction, know. And I did my show and stuff like that, and it was kind of it was a rough show. It's kind of a struggle a little bit. It was just more of the energy. I don't know what, the energy switched, and the show was spiraling down, and I wouldn't get off stage until I can get that last joke to make them stand up.
Right.
So I kept just pounding and trying to get them to stand up. So it just made the show just prolong even longer until I found that joke to get them stand. Never got them to stand up, and I just had to say, "All right, y'all, good night," and leave on some real crickets, just get the. I think I heard somebody clear their throat and all like, like, oh man. So that was the most embarrassing one I can remember. I also remember falling off the stool at one time doing a joke, because it was when I was young. I was such a physical comedian. I just be moving around all the time, stuff like that. And I remember just hopping on the stool, but missed the stool and went back and fell to the ground. But I was so smooth, I fell to the ground and just like did a little roll back on my feet. I don't even think people noticed, but maybe they have. I don't know, but not too many embarrassing moments,
And they probably thought that was part of the.
They could have.
Part of your set.
They could have. I don't know.
Okay, how would you describe your humor and your style?
Oh well, go back to box cutter comedy. That's that. Like I said, I just like thinking outside the box. My style is, someone's given me a kind of a title to my style early on. Just like, man, you just got that cool comedy, and I didn't know what that meant, but I guess I just have my personality or whatever, stuff like that. I'm a laid back, cool, smooth guy, but in my comedy I try to project more of my sense of humor and stuff like that, but I guess my coolness still comes out. So and we were just talking about I was talking about with your assistant over there, Donnie Williams, comedian Donnie Williams from Chicago. He's on this series called The G now that's on Amazon Prime. But Donnie Williams, he told me that, and that was like many years ago when I was young. That was back early '90s. He's like, man, you just got that cool comedy. So that's stuck with me the whole time. But it was Donnie Williams.
So do you have a favorite comedian?
I have a favorite comedian, yes. Actually, my favorite comedian is the comedian who inspired me to even want to do comedy and get on stage, and that's Damon Wayans.
What?
From the Wayans family.
I love him.
Man,
yes.
he's a brilliant stand-up
yes,
comic.
He is.
I say it every interview. Hopefully one day he get to see that I mention him in my interviews all the time because I get this question a lot. But Damon Wayans is the one who made me say, okay, I'm going to do it. Because I remember before in Living Color, and anything you seen him on, you seen him in specks of things, and you never knew his name. But you're like, this dude is hilarious, funny, right? Mm-hmm. And he had this 30-minute special on HBO, One Night Stand. He was dressed in all black and stuff like that. This is before In Living Color, all that stuff. Still really didn't know this man's name, but me and my friend, we watching it, and my boy was like, and I'm like 17, 18, and my boy's like, B, he reminds me of you. And I was like, what? So when he said that, it clicked. It's like, well, this is what I need to be doing. So at 19 years old, I went out straight after high school. I went out and started doing stand-up. Then I ended up meeting Damon. I went to one of his book signings because WGN had him on the news advertising that he was going to be doing a book signing at Evergreen Plaza. Everybody remember Evergreen Plaza back then. So I rushed up there to go meet him. When I met him, he knew me. He's like, I know you. He watched Comic View. I like, wow. So I didn't think a lot of people watch Comic View. And he told me he knew me and was familiar with me. But I was so much of a fanboy. I was like, man, you my mentor and stuff. And he just like, man, he didn't believe me. Like, get out of here, man. I was like, no, for real, you my mentor, man, and stuff like that. And then I met him on another occasion when he came to Chicago. But the crazy thing, finding out that me and his birthday is the exact same day.
Really?
Yeah, September 4th, which is Beyonce's birthday too as well. So yeah, so when I found that out, I was like, there's the connection. Right. I was like, man, me and this dude, Virgos, straight have the same mindset of comedy and everything. So that's been my favorite comedian ever since. Like, I had great comedians who I admired, such as Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. Yeah. And Eddie Murphy is the ultimate god of comedy.
Raw, delirious. Man, that's what I grew up on.
And you'll laugh just at Eddie Murphy. Like, he just regular talking on the interview. He just like, him talking is just like hilarious. But Damon Wayans is the one who made me say, I'm gonna do this. Mm-hmm. And he's been my favorite comedian because he's a clever writer. Like, you can tell just like doing his stand-up, like, man, this dude is genius. Yeah, so that's who I kind of like, that's my sensei.
Okay. Have you ever been booed off stage?
I've been booed, yes. I've been booed, but it was at like, it's no excuse. I've been booed. Here come the excuse behind it. It was at an Apollo setting, and I remember I was going to Northern Illinois just to hang out with some buddies and friends and stuff. And we just went up there. It was their homecoming. I'm still like at the college age, right. But here I am. I've been probably 3 years into comedy now. So me and my entourage, we go to Northern to their homecoming just to kick it, hang out. So we went to a show that radio personality, Dr. Love from WGCI at the time, he was hosting the Apollo show. So he saw me there, and he's like, B.COLE, man, come on up here, man, tell some jokes, man, stuff like that. And I'm just like, my boys asked me like, oh, man, it was a huge crowd, big auditorium, And I didn't get there at the beginning of the show. I get there like towards the middle. I didn't know they didn't boo probably 10 people prior to the end of like 10 acts. So they was in boo ready. They already had boo.
They was in boo mode.
They was already in boo mode. You know what I'm saying? So when I get up there, like I said, prior, I didn't see anything. As soon as I get there, Dr. Luck, because I came in through the back door and stuff like that, and he like, man, I want you to go on stage. So I just see this big crowd. I'm like, bet. Mm-hmm. So I go out there, man. I don't even remember what I said. My first word like, boo, 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 boo. and they booed me off, man. I was just like, and look, this is the first day of the homecoming. I was like, and we had a whole weekend to go. I'm like, dude, I don't want to stay here.
They booed you since they heard your name.
Yeah.
B.COLE, boo, they just booed you.
They just booed me. And everybody who was in that show was throughout the homecoming for the weekend. So, of course, I didn't want to stay. I was like, I ain't trying to stay here. I didn't book the hotel for 2 nights. Let me get the hell up out of here, you know. But yeah, that right there, that was my only boo moment. But I had some shows where what's worse than boos is just silence. You know, when you got nothing, it's just silence.
That has to be a hard pill to swallow, to sit there and do comedy and nobody says anything.
Nobody say anything.
I would run off the stage.
Yeah, that's when you hear the throat clearing the voice. You'd be like, oh man. But that happened a couple of times. But my thing is this. Sometimes I can do my routine exactly the same as I do it in one city to another city. Sometimes just that energy is real. The energy in the room. Somebody in that audience can come up with some bad energy and just spread it out like a disease. So it's been times like that where I just felt like some kind of weird energy and my shows kind of swayed a little bit. But yeah, that silence is a whole nother beast.
Okay. So when it comes down to female comedians, who would you say? Well, I don't want to compare, but Samore has, if I'm saying her name right,
Samore.
She is like my all-time favorite.
Yeah,
she is
Samore.
hilarious. I love her.
She's great.
Cheryl Underwood is another favorite of mine.
Chicago.
And Monique, I love her too as well. But I really like Tiffany Haddish now because she's more new age or whatever.
Yeah.
Have you ever worked with any female comedians?
I worked with all of them who you mentioned. From
Yeah.
Tiffany to Monique, some more. Yeah. Adele Givens probably would be my favorite.
I forgot about her.
Yeah, not only she's
Right.
Chicago, but I've seen Adele just, destroy rooms, concert halls. And every time I seen Adele, she always had different material. She never really repeated, because like I said, I worked with a lot of them ladies a few times, but some comedians, there's nothing wrong having a solid act that you do, because if you're traveling 50 states, each place you go to, your jokes are brand new to everybody, you know what I'm saying? People get caught up a lot on like, oh, he telling them same jokes. Yeah, but I'm telling them in my city to perfect them, so when I go out of town, they're brand new to everybody, and it's just so polished. People don't gotta realize, like, when you come out to a comedy show, stuff like that, you may see comedians do the same job, but it's more like it's like you going to the gym to watch a fighter train, do his sparring and stuff, but then he training for that big Vegas fight, the big HBO premiere Vegas fight. So that's what comedians do, you know what I'm saying? We kind of spar on working them jokes out, exercising them, so when we go to the city and do our big shows, we got them perfected, and they look flawless. But people don't know, like, yo, we've been working on this material for years or months. But like I said, Adele, she always kept fresh. She always kept it real, and she's Chicago West Side, and
West Side.
Yeah. So yeah, Adele, but it's been a lot of ladies that I work. We got a lot of up and coming Chicago comedians. This ladies here, man, like Just Niche, Corey Bell. They're making their way, doing their thing. Merrily. It's a lot. It's more lady comedians now than it's ever been. Because when I first started, the '90s and stuff like that, it was a lot of guys, and like it was very few ladies on the show.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we'll be right back with more of B.COLE. Hey, baby.
Hey, Mama, why you didn't come home last night?
Oh, I was hanging out with my friends, and I just passed out and stayed over at Latrice's house.
Oh, okay. Ain't that daddy friend Larry?
Ain't no fucking way, boy. Larry!
Welcome back. For those of you who are tuning in, I have here comedian B.COLE, who I have been discussing about his comedy career. So, to get off the topic of being a comedian. I also know that you are an actor as well as a filmmaker, writer, and director.
Yes. I've tried it. Well, not trying. I'm doing it all. Yeah. So I've done a couple of films, acted in a few projects. But yeah, my resume has been running long since that. My first film I ever done was I'm in Love with a Crackhead. I told you that it was a poem. I made it into a movie, and it was a short film. And my man Cootie Simmons, who's now doing big things, he's doing that Kanye West documentary now. Just got a big deal with Netflix. But he was the director on it. And like I said, we all started together back in the day. And if you go back and watch that movie, you'll see a lot of people who are doing big things now that started with us back in the day. So but I'm in Love with a Crackhead. It's on my YouTube channel as well. If you want to check it out.
Okay. So, I'd like to present a gift that he's given me.
Yes.
And a gift. I guess it's Shy Fly by
Yes,
B.COLE.
yes. That's my company, Shop Fly Entertainment, LLC.
Okay.
And this is my clothing line. And I got your shirt. I don't know if you can probably sleep in it if it's too big.
I'm gonna wear
I
this.
brought a medium, but yeah, you know how you ladies like to cut stuff up and make it fit.
To make me a halter top.
Yeah.
Exactly
But yeah,
like
Shop Flight, and this is a limited edition right here. Only 10 of these were made. The one with the skyline behind it. So only 10 of those was made. So you have the limited edition
See
Shop
this, guys?
Fly. Yeah.
Shy Fly by B.COLE. Could you please let the audience know how to get your clothing?
Yes, please go to bcoleware.threadless.com. bcoleware.threadless.com. And you can also follow my page on Instagram. Yeah, on Instagram at B.COLE So at B.COLE on Instagram, check it out. And yeah, definitely, man, grab some shirts. You can get hoodies, you can get tanks, the baby onesies, toddler clothes, but make it Shop Fly. And there's some other designs on there if you want to grab something other than Shop Fly. But definitely, it's a movement. So make sure y'all represent. And you ain't got to be from Chicago to get a Shop Fly. You can be Shop Fly in Wyoming if you want to.
Well, I would like to thank you so much for being a guest on my show. It's definitely an honor, and I truly feel like I got my first celebrity on my set.
Don't
I'm
say
so
that because
excited.
the people at the prior guests
They
was like,
celebrities
oh,
too,
man.
but
I'm honored to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. We need outlets, platforms like this for us to get information out and everything, and I really appreciate it that you allow me to get all my info out.
Well, I thank Tim King, my cinematographer. I thank you so much for the clothing. Once again, guys, information that he's giving you for his clothing line, please support black businesses. That is definitely.
Oh, and can I also my YouTube channel, B.COLE Films. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, B.COLE Films. Go in there and see my movie. I'm in Love with a Crackhead with sketch comedy, stand up. Everything is on there. You can be entertained just watching my channel. Please subscribe, B.COLE Films.
Please subscribe, and hopefully one day I'll get a chance to work with you side by side.
We shall. I'm working on some projects coming up, man. So I'm gonna call you.
All right, guys, this concludes the show of the I Am She Show. And for those of you that are tuning in, like I say all the time, no matter what, always follow your dreams. Always remember, whatever you think, speak, and believe, you manifest. Goodbye.